And then that way we're talking about him.
We apologize for being just a few minutes late. We've had a busy workshop session, but I'm going to call the meeting to order. We'd like to welcome all of you to our Tree Mountain City Council policy session. This is we love it when we have the young people from our schools come and spend some time with us. This is a big deal, and we appreciate it so much. So we want to welcome all of you. We want to welcome all of those who are here for some of the items on the agenda. We appreciate you being here as well. So with that, we'll go ahead and get our meeting underway. I'm going to give the opening prayer, and after the prayer, we'll have our Assistant City Manager, Lindsay Nesson, will lead us in the pledge. We'll go to that point. Our Father in heaven, as we come before thee at this time, we're thankful for the blessings which we have. We're thankful for the opportunity of being together as citizens of Tree Mountain. We're grateful for the opportunity to have a dialogue and to be able to discuss matters pertaining to the direction of the city and which way we want to go. We're grateful for those who serve, for our fire and police departments, for the efforts that they put into keeping us safe, and we're grateful for those who operate the city and keep everything going, our public works and all of the different departments. We're grateful for them. We're grateful for our council, for the decision and the wisdom that they have. We pray for thy spirit and blessing to be with us this evening, and this we say in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, Council. We've got a lot of people here that are kind of new, especially the young people. So I'd like to just introduce to you our city council members and our city manager. Over here on my left is down here. We have our city manager, Bill Kobe. And then we got over here with only one wing, Bo Lewis. That he had an accident yesterday playing hockey, and he said, "But boy, you should have seen the score I did. You should have seen the goal." So I'm sure it was great. We've got our Blair Westergaard and Lyle Vance, myself, Brett Rohde, and Wes Eastep, and then we've got our recorder and Cynthia Nelson. I'm sorry. I do this. I'm sorry. And Lindsay Nesson, who gave us the pledge. So anyway, we're grateful that you're here with us tonight. We'll get the meeting underway. Council, is there any conflicts with the agenda tonight? No. If no, then maybe you can just, no conflict?
No conflict.
No conflict. I make a motion, we approve the agenda.
Okay, I guess, okay. Well, that sounds good. Approval of the minutes.
I'll second the approval of the agenda and make a motion that we approve the minutes for November 19th, 2024.
So,
I'll second it.
second that. Okay, so we've got two motions here. We got the approval of the agenda. All in favor?
Yes. Yes.
And the approval of the minutes. Council?
Yes.
Okay. Both of those motions pass. We have a presentation now for, this is you guys' big moment. So here we go. We are going to present the Citizenship Awards. Just so the rest of you kind of know what's going on here, a couple of years ago, I believe it was Wes that got this started, and then Council Member Connie Archibald. The two of them worked on this, and they started this where we were recognizing young people for their citizenship. And basically what it is you guys are being recognized because you're respectful and you're responsible as young people, and that you promote safety in your schools. So we're going to give you a little certificate and a little prize, and we'll get that going right now.
Principals, let's invite the
Oh,
principals up.
and I'm sorry, we got our principals from all three schools, the Alice C. Harris and McKinley and North Park. We're going to have them come forward and help us with the presentations. Okay. We're going to start out with Skyden Garza. And then what we're going to have you do is just come around here by your principals, and then we'll get a picture when we're all done. Quincy Weston. Come right around here. We want to get your picture. Abby Zarati. Did I pronounce that correctly? Abby Zarati. There you are. Good job, Abby. Brady Geddes. Wyatt Schofield. Jordan Lemus. Fabrice Bopet. Sophia Mitchell. We'll make sure Sophia gets that. Tenley Taylor. Oh, she's next month? Okay, we'll make sure that that's. Navy Weston. I hope I pronounced this right, Novelly McLean. Katie Nielsen. Louisa Carroll. And Ruby Hurst. Okay.
Big old eyes.
Marlon here?
Yeah, see if there's any we missed, Mayor. See if there's any we
Okay,
missed.
are there any students I missed? Okay, very good, let's get some pictures. Let's kind of crowd everybody together a little bit.
See everybody.
We'll give you plenty of time for pictures. If Lindsay don't take it all up.
Very good.
Watch the lights.
Yeah.
Good job.
Okay.
Dale, a ver.
Thank you thank you, all you young people, and a lot of times, folks get up and leave. I'm really thrilled that you're willing to stay, so this is really cool. But if you want to leave, that's good too, so whatever you'd like to do.
All of us?
Except you.
You don't get to leave.
You're just getting started.
They're all in the Spanish word.
He's waving.
Hasta luego.
Who did they just put in the Spanish?
Taylor Skinner. Wife's from Mexico. It'll be good. And it's a good fit. Because our problem is or my kids, you know.
It's hard.
They did the best they could. Hasta luego.
We should have had him stay.
Glad they didn't stay.
All right. Okay, we'll move on in our, down our agenda. The next item is our public comment period. This is an opportunity for you to address the city council regarding your concerns or ideas. We're going to hold a strict 3-minute limit, and the time is now yours.
I don't think they all heard that it was public comment time, did they?
Did you not hear that it's public comment period?
Is this about anything?
The time is yours. You've got 3 minutes.
You're going to be shocked that it's not about Midland Square. So, my name is Debbie Brantner, and in August, I recently found out about a neighbor that I have that is trapping cats and killing them. And I have lost 3 of them, and I filled out a report about it with the police department, with the dog catcher, and there's nothing that's been done about it. And I have a case number right here. And I realize that it's a he said, she said, and it's just a stinking cat. But the one cat that I had, I got it right after my husband passed away. It's kind of a terms of endearment cat to me. And I had her for 4 years, and I realized that it shouldn't have been roaming around, but I have a big area that it patrols, and it comes in my house every night. And I'm sure that he must have been enticing these cats. And for that cat to go over there, and it's adjacent to my yard. And I was told that I needed to keep my cats inside my house. I don't have mice in my house. I have mice on my property in my shop. And these cats were collecting them. I rescued the 2 other cats that were also killed, and I went and talked to this man because I used to hold beats for him in my younger years. And he confessed to me that he'd done this. And even with me crying and tears and everything to this person, he just didn't really care, because he told me that the reason why he'd done this is so that his wife can sit in his backyard, or in her backyard, and look at birds. And I think something needs to be done about this person. For one thing, I found out from the animal control person, it's illegal to trap cats in the city limits. But I understood that it's been going on for years. After talking to my neighbors who had cats missing, turned out that counting my 3, altogether, there's 12 cats missing that I know of in the last, well, since April. And I think something needs to be done about it.
Have you worked with our animal control? You have worked with our animal control.
Yes, and I've called and left messages, and she hasn't called back.
Can you work with Debbie a little bit on this? And
I have a lot of minutes.
okay, why don't you, if you can kind of work together, you know, then I think why don't we get that kind of started and get that process going, if that's okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Okay, I'm Jed Abbott, and I need to talk a little bit about Midland Square. You know, they said that I agreed to it the other night. Well, I was almost forced into agreeing. This all came about almost overnight. New drawings, new this, new that. It's not been done correctly. We never, as a group, even looked at them, at the drawings, until they were brought in and said, here they are. This is the concept. That's not the way it should be done. The whole problem that's going on over there is, I don't know, it just seems to keep festering up and becoming a big problem all over again. People get upset. I've got veterans. Since we talked the other night, I've talked to a few veterans. I can't talk to a lot of them because it's hard to get a hold of them. But I have talked to a few, and every one of them says, it's got to stop. Well, I think something should be done. But I also look at the fact that as the steering committee, we've done I think a real good job with coming up with some concepts for the town. But you know what? We're putting 4 stars right down Main Street. When what do they stand for? They're the gold stars for the Borgstrom brothers. That's saying this is a military town. This town has huge respect for the veterans. Midland Square should be the absolute flagship for the veterans. And yes, I think there should be a place in there for the fire department, for the law enforcement, because you know what? They're the same kind of people. Different service, but they're the same kind of people, and they should be in there and they should be recognized. But we've got a lot of veterans that have never been recognized. Nothing's been said about them. Nothing's been done for them. I've been asked, why not my family? We've done all this for the Borgstroms, which is amazing. But now they want to know why nothing's ever been done for their families. And that's where it should be done. And I think that we should do everything we can to make sure that that's what happens. And a lot of the veterans even say it shouldn't be called Midland Square. It should be called Tremonton's Veteran Memorial or something to that extent. So, looks like my time's over, so thank you.
Thanks, Chad.
That was a good job, Jed. All right. I'm Jamie Poppleton. I'm from Tremonton. I'm going to start by just kind of saying just a certain name. Gail Smart. When he passed away and I read his obituary, part of his obituary says, as mayor, he played an instrumental role in overseeing the highway project that connected I-15 and I-84, a legacy that remains. A memory comes to my mind from Manuel, and all he said to me was, "Mark my words, Jamie, Tremonton businesses will die, including our produce. Traffic will not have a need anymore to exit." On November 18th, 1990, Deseret News published an article stating the project was 18 years behind schedule and $1 billion over budget, but the 22-mile stretch connecting Tremont to Plymouth was complete. I say this to you because in doing a project that seems to be something someone is passionate about, like Gil Smart was, I wonder if he realized in doing so, he also possibly helped Tremont and Main Street fall into despair. Diverting traffic to simplify the road traveled to get to your destination without forward-thinking ideology could possibly affect so much more in the future, sometimes for the worse. I ask council to put aside all of the personal agendas to make a name for yourself or to get credit for a job well done that seems perfect now, to pause and think about 10 or 20 years down the road or more and ask yourself, will this affect the future in a negative way of Tremonton? With all the studies done with Main Street since 1989 to the present, the only fix I see is to get traffic off the freeway and give them a beautiful military monument to come and see as an attraction and a blessing. Back in February 2024 and several times between now and then, I have also spoke about making Midland Square a memorial, a veterans park, a plaza, a something, and using that as the centerpiece. It was in 4 of my public comments, using the word centerpiece. If you give people a reason to stop, the businesses will follow. Don't expect businesses to come in and hope people will get off the freeway to support them. In my opinion, opening the freeway was a negative on Main Street, Tremonton. People will come to Tremonton once. If it isn't to their liking or they don't benefit from coming, they won't come back. Look around too. City council members should also take note. When people come here, it is the same way. People come and they speak, and they don't like what they see or they hear, and they don't ever come back. It's just something that I would hope council would think about in making decisions for Tremont in the future. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie.
Yes. Hopefully there's no
Can I borrow yours? I left my reading glasses home.
Oh, these are not reading glasses.
Sorry. Christy Bocut. I'd like to take each one of you on a journey. If you would please visualize in your mind what I'm about to say, a subject that is near and dear to my heart and also the majority of the public. To start with, the building to the east of Midland Square, can't see when I'm looking, needs to be repainted. So if we repaint it something to do with military, just an idea. Normandy, Hiroshima, bombing of Pearl Harbor. Think of the faces of the POWs in this town on that wall. Is that more powerful than cowboys and Indians? It really is, because it ties the park together. Jed talked about renaming the square. Signage on I-15 and 84 will bring people in off the roads. It is military squares, whatever parks, whatever you want to call them, do bring people in. The memorial space would be a 365-day-a-year space and not just a small event plaza. We have signage. If you do we have 2 stages in Tremonton City, not to mention the fairgrounds, that are not being utilized. Why? Schumann Park, when I talked to Jim Grover said, why not Schumann Park? Huge stage, large grassy space, water park there, there's restrooms there. He says, why are they trying to duplicate there when they already have it here? I give you my opinion of that one, and he agreed. With that being said, one corner of it, like Jed said, could be for the EMT's fire department. Just to name one, Coestegard was my age. I had a really good time talking to him one day I asked him, why do you serve? Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to go help people? To me, it's foreign, okay? He says, because I can and because I want to. I want to give. He lost his life at a young age. We should be honoring some of them EMTs. By not doing so is crazy. So I've talked to residents in Logan. I have family that lives in Logan. They feel like the Lob Center is a waste of time, a waste of money. He said, for one thing, you can't hear if there's an event there, like you cannot hear at Midland Square. They have other parks that they would like utilized, but now they're not being utilized. They do think it's a waste of public taxes and tax dollars and a waste of money. Schumann Park, we used to have bed races there. They used to do movies in the park, Coldwater Gang. But when you talk about studies being done and it's out there and it's on paper, there's a difference between what's on paper and what is really going to work. I can put something on paper, but is it really going to work? So myself and 3 veterans sat down with a city employee this last week. And in that meeting, right at the end of the meeting, that employee said, Christy, I've worked on this for 7 months. Where have you been? That was offensive. If I had known he had been working on Midland Square for 7 months, I would have been there. I would have had a whole gang of veterans with me. So to have an employee talk to a resident that way, I have problems with that one. Thank you.
Thanks, Christy.
I know, I think I can see, thank you. My name's Jaden Hugie. I own a trucking company here in Tremont, as well as I'm on the Chamber of Commerce for Box Elder County. Third party outside looking in, it seems like there's people very passionate on both sides. As we walked out, as you guys went into your private meeting, seems like there's 2 trains going in the same direction at the same speed, and nobody's going to give, and nobody's going to cross tracks, nobody's going to share. I think the important thing is to realize, as Jamie said, the interstate did kill Main Street. I own trucks. I operate logistics companies. I don't want my trucks on Main Street. That's not profitable. It's not productive, and we're going to break stuff. But what is productive and what is profitable is to revitalize Main Street, and I think everybody should be open to the fact that it needs to work hand in hand. One hand washes the other, as far as to get people to observe and appreciate and remember the veterans and fire department and EMS. You have to get people there as well, and maybe there's a way to better work on that form, as this Jed had said. Maybe felt like it was thrown in his lap. I personally know Jared. I don't know most other people here, but I know he works. He's worked pretty hard on this, and again, everybody's got Facebook, Tremont Classifieds. There's extreme opinions from one side to the other. I just more than anything wanted to come up here a little more neutral. That there are citizens that see both sides and can only kind of imagine what you guys go through on this, because everybody looks to you, and some of us are quite confused on what the direction is, because we'd like to see Tremont revitalized. We'd like to see things changed. Part of the chamber, we've kind of worked on implementing the ability, and I had a meeting with the mayor on being more involved in Tremont and showing the businesses in Tremont and Main Street that this is a joint cooperative, and as we want it to be with Midland Square and other things. As I said, one hand washes the other, and this is really a joint effort. But that's all I have. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Jaden.
Deborah Long. My dad's brothers are the Borgstrom boys. And in all the time, and I want all of you to know this, in all the time that we have been working on Midland Square and the memorial, there's never been a time that anyone involved has not included every veteran, every loss of anybody. Everybody's lost somebody, and it matters. So everything has been done this way. I'm sorry that things can be a little bit easier and maybe more positive when we're trying to talk about everything and work on things. There's so many good people in this community, and they do step forward when we ask them completely and help. and are concerned, and they're here. But we keep having negative. Even last night, on my phone, a message that somebody on the committee decided that they would want to slam everything and change everything. We can't get anything done if that keeps happening.
Debbie, you need to address us, though.
Okay, but I really would, if you've got good ideas, honest, bring them forward. Everybody listens, everybody wants more businesses, community activity. They want people to be able to go to the park with their kids. We want to respect the memorial, which I've never seen it disrespected, not one time. So I'm here for everybody. My dad's brothers are over there, but so is everybody else. And it's been talked about all along with respect to the fire department, the EMTs, the nurses, the police officers, anybody that goes out. Any people in this community that donate their money, donate their time, because they want this city to be a better place to live. It already is. We just have to get rid of the negativity.
Thanks, Debbie. Okay, I'm going to close the public comment period. Our next item number 8, new council business, discussion and consideration of adopting resolution number 24-64, approving the final concept plan for Midland Square improvements associated with the Rural Communities Opportunity Grant. I'm going to ask if Jared has any other.
She's stepping in for Jared.
Oh, you're stepping in for Jared? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. All right, Cassandra, do you want to just answer any other questions? We kind of ended the session in our workshop a little bit early because we had to go into the closed session. And so Cassandra has agreed to answer any questions that, council, if you've got any other questions for the steering committee.
I think the main question I have for steering committee would kind of circle back to the question that we asked right before we left is, you know, in a sequence of the most important things, I'm really interested in the steering committee's opinion on that, including Midland into Main Street project. If we looked at them all as one whole, what would be the sequence of events that would be important? Just very interested in, you know, everybody's opinion on that. You know, just.
So when we did our, like when we met, we mainly focused on Main Street and then focused on Midland Square. So we didn't do a lot of like.
Either or is kind of the focus.
We have like a meeting
yeah.
about one and a meeting about another. And I don't have my notebook. I'm blaming that on pregnancy brain. But but we did present a couple weeks ago a list of priorities for Main Street. And then that was before we did the survey. I think it was like 8 different priorities. And then we did the survey, and with priorities 4 in the survey, there was a list of things that we talked about last time as far as like sidewalks and things like that are a priority as far as Main Street goes. And then Midland Square was just kind of its own thing. I don't know if anybody else has a comment as far as Main Street goes, the priority between the two.
Well, I think we need to, Midland Square needs to be part of the total plan. And so we just need to find out where we're going to prioritize it.
I think that's really the crux of the question here. I don't think there's anyone that if given all the money in the world, we would address everything, right? But because money and budgets are limited, we have to prioritize and put money where it goes for the best. And that's really the question before you right now. However, having said that, the item on the, for the discussion tonight is not about facade grants or about other beautification efforts that can and should take place ultimately with these things, and economic development. But is the concept that's in front of you acceptable, and can we take this out and get some real budgetary numbers associated with it, some bid alternates that we can add into the construction documents so that if it comes in over budget, we can pull some of those things back in an effort to get to where we can start pushing dirt, hopefully sooner than later.
That's perfect, Bill. I mean, it's how much is all these different things going to cost us before we can make any decisions? And so, first off, have we put that stuff out for the engineer to give us a cost estimate on
He
the
has-
suggestions on Main Street?
On Main Street, that is,
in the works.
I think that is in the process right now. I don't know. I think they're kind of waiting for, Jeff, does Chris have the information on Main Street yet? I think we're waiting on talking to UDOT.
Yeah, we still haven't met with UDOT about our concept plan, and before we get any engineering, done on the plans, we need to make sure that they're okay with the changes. It does narrow the asphalt portion of the roadway, and so we can't go out and start doing improvements without their
Okay,
first
so-
foresight. And that's why we've been pushing for Midland to get something moving, because we need to get UDOT and UDOT's engineering approval of Main Street. I don't know how long it's gonna take.
Have we got an appointment with
I've tried
UDOT?
I've tried reaching out to my contact there 3 times in the past couple of weeks and just haven't heard back.
And
I will say this, I had the opportunity of going down to the, sorry. Go ahead. Going down to the Transportation Interim Committee meeting down at the state capitol a week or so ago, and talking about this Highway 102. And I had the opportunity of talking to the number one guy in UDOT, and kind of brought up in general terms, what we were thinking of doing. And, I think that UDOT is a lot more open to, the cities coming up with a plan, and is something that's, specifically to help with the economic aspects of the downtown area and that kind of thing. So they were very open. I mean, he was extremely open, I thought, to us coming with a plan. So I think it's just a matter of us getting with UDOT, and that's maybe takes a little more time than we
We're
think.
at a crutch right now is what's going on. We're afraid we're gonna lose the grant if we don't keep moving on something. And that's why we're putting pressure on Midland Square to make a decision one way or another, where we're trying to figure out what our priorities are. I mean, frankly, I think all of us agree that Main Street is the priority, and Midland Square is part of that, but it's secondary to Main Street, in my opinion. I think that's what I'm gathering from
Can I make a comment?
everybody. Hang on just a second, Jed. So, I mean, we got to get costs on everything and estimates before we can move on anything. I mean, as soon as we know what the costs are, we can say, yeah, we want to do this in this order, and
I think the part of the
Costs without approving a design though. Like, we can't go and get into the weeds without city council going, yes, this is the concept we agree on, and then go get into the weeds. Because we're not gonna spend the money to pay architects and engineers to dive into every patch of weeds along the way to approve one drawing or one design.
Didn't we have one from before, a year ago?
We have,
And it
actually,
somewhat cost?
Chris has done some engineering work on Midland. So we do have, I don't know how finished it is, but I know that he's been working on, he's been working on it. So we do have
Kinda.
an engineer's estimate, for Midland. On the Main Street part, we don't have we're still kind of waiting on that. I will say that, just for your information, so we know kind of where we're at in terms of this Fund 72, which is Fund 71 or 3, or one of those, Fund 72, I'll call it. This is the one where we put money into the Main Street, okay, Main Street revitalization. And Lindsay and I went through this and went into the budget, and I was thinking it's $1.1 million. What we have in there is almost $1.5 million in the Main Street RDA, that Fund 72. On top of that, we have of course, the grant, and, that's where we're at on that is about 575 or 580,000. That includes the 405 plus way back in the day, the council did approve another 175 to go into that. That was our 30% part of the agreement of the grant. And then, so we've got some additional funds from the state that is coming on a regular basis. And then there's some other funding that is available. So we do have $1.5 million right now for Main Street. And then there's the possibility of, we've talked a little bit about, quite a bit about our online sales and the sales tax revenue that comes from that. And, we've got, I won't specify businesses, but the online sales that come into Tremont are significant. And it would be possible to maybe that the money from online sales could be leveraged to enhance that 1.5 million up to, some other amount that would. The idea would be, let's get the job done, get it done as quickly as we can, and get the Main Street revitalized. Kind of thing. So that, I think right now, it'd be nice to, have a direction on. Brett talked a lot about priorities, so have you, Lyle, and it's sort of maybe we need some direction on where things are going, but keeping in mind, let's just keep in mind that this grant, and we don't want to stumble on the grants.
So, yeah, we need to keep the grant going, and I think it was good that everybody knows how much money we've got and that type of stuff. I mean, for the first time, we've got $1.5 million that we can spend, that's in the coffers right now, that we can spend on Main Street. That's not gonna go very far with the things we're talking about. So again, it boils back down to priorities. I don't have a problem tonight, approving it for the mere fact of just somebody actually putting some numbers together so we know what the cost is gonna be.
Exactly.
I mean, personally, I've got some hesitations with that park, and this is not the time to talk about it, I don't think. But I think we need to get the numbers so that we can make decisions, so we can move forward on this thing. And then I don't know what we need to do. Can we help make an appointment with UDOT? Nothing's gonna happen till we roll over and get an appointment set up.
Well, can I ask a quick question? I just want to verify that I understand what you're not saying, right? You're not saying that you're bought in on everything that's on that map. You're bought in on the idea of zooming in and getting costs generally with that concept.
I'm bought in on the fact that we have got to get numbers before decisions can be made.
Yep.
But with that particular thing, this has been going on for 2 years. January 1st, 2023 is when we got the grant, which means we were talking about Midland Square before that. We've been in Tremont and hung up on walkways. I'm sorry, I can't talk I can't say that word without having everybody upset. Walkways, we spent tons of money, and all we've been talking about is Midland Square when we need to be talking about Main Street. That's where we need to be spending our money. If you take a look at Midland Square, it's too small. I mean, you're talking about a gathering place. I mean, when I'm thinking of gathering places, Jenny Stevens, and we have heydays out there, that's a gathering place. That's where things happen in Tremonton, and it's outside of Tremonton. We've got another park that's got all the facilities that we're trying to put in this one 2 blocks away from Main Street. I mean, and it's 4 times the size. We got more space here on Tremont city property than we do on that little tiny park. And so there's no space on it, so we close down the street when they're having the party. And that happens to be the artery where the fire trucks and the ambulances are supposed to exit. I mean, I'm not sure why we want to spend more money. The park is nice the way it is. We need to take that money, that $500,000 grant, and redirect it down Main Street and put lights up, take trees down, and clean it up.
Leave Midland Square the way it is for the veterans.
We,
So,
Well,
can I talk now?
yeah, well, sure.
UDOT doesn't own our sidewalks.
They have right of way to the sidewalks.
Okay, but there's no reason we can't go and start making some plans and designing and start moving forward with our sidewalks and facades. Okay, we don't have to go out on the road right now. Okay, but at least we can get some costs on how much it's gonna cost to rip out trees, put in new ones, put in all that stuff,
lights.
put in the infrastructure, put in lights. There's nothing stopping us from doing that. That's our property. And so we can do that.
I gotta say something. When you're doing Main Street, you gotta put in all your sewer, all your water, all your storm drains, all of your electrical. All that's gotta go in that area where the trees are. And you gotta take your old trees out, decide whether you're gonna do planters or new trees or a combination. And when you're doing that, now's the time that you put new water into the buildings, you put new whatever, okay? So that's all cared for. And the same goes with Midlands Park Square. You gotta put all that infrastructure into there, and you don't wanna build that and then tear it out to put that back in.
Right.
Thanks, Jed. Okay, so I think what I'm hearing is let's move forward with, for the purpose of getting numbers, for the purpose of getting some information and getting some hard numbers that we can start making
Hard decisions.
on that. Okay.
Because half's gonna want Maine, half's gonna want Midland, half's gonna wanna leave it alone, half's gonna want something done. It's a no-win situation. Even with all the money in the world, we're not gonna make everybody happy.
It's a lightning rod. I just wish we
Right.
could leave it alone right now.
But we gotta do something.
Well, let's just consider, let's
look at the
remember the grant.
costs
And look at the costs, and, you know, if we you know, let's just say we kind of take what you're thinking and the purpose of the grant is for economic development. That's the purpose. And Monica sits on the committee. She's on that. She can help us, you know, in making some plans. It'd be nice to get the numbers on this so we kind of know where we're at, but at the same time, understanding that let's start working with the Rural Opportunities Grant people so that we can, if this is not the way the council wants to go, then how do we realign that grant?
Redirect it.
Redirect, that's the word I was looking for. Redirect the grant so that, you know, what we want to do is we want to be successful on this grant. So the next time the opportunity comes up for us to apply for another one, they say, yeah, they performed. They did what they said they were going to do, and, you know, we would like to work with them again. That's what we want. we don't want to leave this thing and we don't want a black eye with the state. So I just think that we just need to, let's get a little direction from you guys and then let's press forward.
Let me try. I'm going to make a motion that we consider adopting resolution number 24-64, approving the final concept plan for Midland Square, Midland Square improvements associated with the Rural Committee's Opportunity Grant. That I need to add on to this thing that we need to adopt this resolution for numbers only at this point so we can get cost estimates, with the idea that down the road, we might want to try to get the Rural Committee's Opportunity people to redirect it down Main Street. Does that make sense?
It actually did make sense. We have a motion on the
Does that
floor.
motion tie this grant with Midland Square?
I think that,
I'm trying to make it just the other way. I'm trying to make it so that we can use that opportunity grant
Either way.
either way, depending if the committee will approve it or not. I would like to see that money go down Main Street. And then when we get time down the road, if we have extra money, clean up the park if it needs to be cleaned up. But we need to do Main Street. We need to focus. We need to get something done.
I agree. Couldn't agree more with that comment. So is that your
That's my motion.
motion? Okay.
Didn't you record it?
It's recorded.
We got a motion on the floor. Do we?
Jeff, I'm talking like you are now. Circles.
Welcome to planning.
Is there, okay, do we have any comment or
I have some questions.
discussion?
We need a second probably before we go to discussion.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
Oh, okay. Motion by Lyle Vance and seconded by Blair. Is there any discussion?
I don't want to be tied to this plan. And we've gone through 2 years of history that keeps handcuffing us to a plan. And I'm concerned that the motion's not,
Brett, where are you feeling like we're being handcuffed to this plan?
I feel that I'm a little leery that a few months from now, we're going to start seeing construction out there.
No,
And we're going to start seeing the money spent on a design.
no. I reassure you, no money will be spent and not a shovel will be turned without your express approval. And yeah, this is just the next step in the information gathering phase.
Okay, and then the other concern I have is I still don't think we have, I mean, if we're just going after costs, I can be okay with that, but I'm
For the
not
grant.
okay for the
Costs for
grant.
the grant.
But I don't feel like the community's together on what the purpose of this is. And I'm not going to approve this as an event center park, okay? But I'm okay with going after costs, but we still need to have the debates and the discussions and the public input on what are we gonna do with this area? And we need to do what the public wants. And does my concerns fall into that motion?
I think I don't think what we're doing here is anything more than, agreeing to go forward for more information so we can make a decision. And we have till the 1st of January to, work with these people and try to explain that we've got, if we decide to not go this route, and the priority is to focus on Main Street and doing the revitalization of Main Street and using that funding for that. That's kind of what I'm hearing a little bit. But I think by the same token, it's good to get this information put together here so we can start making decisions. It's hard to make a decision without knowing what the costs are.
We don't have another meeting this month, do we?
No.
No.
When did she say that? When does that board meet?
I am meeting December 10th. This is the next grant, but that's just because we're in the grant cycle right now. So we're in that cycle, so I know we're meeting.
I will get,
Why do we need an ordinance? Why can't we just say, get the costs on all this and let's move forward?
That's what
I'm feeling tied to an ordinance and I don't, you know, because that's law, you know, and
I get you now.
I'm a little concerned about.
Why are we passing a resolution? Why can't we just say, go ahead and get the numbers?
Yeah.
No, I'm with you now.
Huh?
That's all we're doing with the resolution.
This is an ordinance, isn't it? Oh, it's a resolution.
Resolution.
You need cheaters, Brett? That's the second meeting of the
But I just get a little concerned that I don't want to be tied to it too
Well,
tight. is
okay,
all.
so I appreciate the
I don't want you
discussion.
to either. It's an uncomfortable position for the mayor and Jeff and I to be in, to think that we're locking you into something that there's no flexibility, and even pulling the plug. If there's no money and you feel like the residents are not behind this, that this is not a priority, that's your purview. That is 100% your purview.
Okay, so it needs to come back to us to make that decision.
Correct.
Okay.
Before any shovels are dug, before we put it out on the street for bids, before we do any of that kind of thing, we're going to come back to you with a bid estimate from our engineer based on this concept per this resolution.
And we can change the concept if we wish.
Correct.
But I think also part of this motion that you made is to explore the possibility of other options for the
the
use of
funding.
that grant.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the other part of this.
Redirect it.
And so that kind of gives us direction to get with the grant people and find out what, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm hearing.
Which would
From
go
all
into
this.
Main Street would be the ask. Can we
But
go?
the economic enhancement of Main Street.
Yes, right.
We don't want to lose that grant money.
For the redirect of the grant.
Well, with that, with that grant money, supposing we did go this direction, that's another $500,000. So now we're up to $2 million. That,
It may be that when we talk with UDOT, they tell us to go pound sand. They may say, you know what, you're not touching our pavement, you're not doing anything, you can do whatever you want, sidewalk and back, but anything that's out in the street. And if that's the case, that's our marching.
Then we go to what we first talked about, taking out trees, putting in
yeah,
poles, lights, water.
right.
I mean,
Facade grants.
the same thing that they had, only you just don't have the end of the street stuff, right?
Exactly.
So,
I think this is sort of giving us direction.
yeah,
Is
absolutely.
what this resolution is doing.
So does it need to be in a resolution or can we just say, go forward and get the information?
I think Sean always liked to put things into.
But Sean's
because-
not here.
No, I know.
Okay.
All I'm saying is he liked to do it because it gave us a record of, gave us something that we can go back on, and that's all I was trying to say.
Sorry.
Okay, with that, we have a motion and a second, and we've had, is there any more discussion? All right, with that, you sure there's no other discussion? All right.
Are we allowed to ask any other opinions right now? Is that
Any other opinions from,
from anybody?
if that's what you want to do?
Well, I guess for me, there's one last question that I kind of have, and that is geared toward, just the interest of an event center there, because there's a lot that's going to go into turning this into an event center. And I have heard that from quite a few. Have you heard people not interested in an event center also? And so that's a concern that I have is that this concept plan is really based around an event center. So we're putting a lot of stake in, and time and effort. We're gonna go get bids, etc. So just making sure I just want to raise that last concern before we do vote, that's truly something that's important.
Well, and just so you know, I mean, the whole idea of this in the early days when the grant was being applied for was a gathering. That was just bringing people downtown. And based on the information and the research that we were able to, put together and then apply for the grant. So that's, the whole idea was as a gathering place. It was a gathering, an area to bring in people and then spur economic development from that. But the same sort of thing can be done on Main Street. I mean, we're talking about bringing people downtown. If we're revitalizing down Main Street, we're making it look better, and there's reasons for people to start congregating in downtown. That's the same, we're talking about the same thing. We're talking about bringing people downtown and revitalizing the area. So, okay. You have any other?
My motion really truly is to keep the grant rolling, and I have no desire to pursue that as a gathering place. That's the way the motion is put together.
That's the intent of the motion.
Really refocus and redirect it towards.
To keep the grant money alive and focus on Main Street.
Okay.
And so, go along with that then, there's gonna have to be, by January, we're gonna have to have,
That's why I'm
gotta get this
pushing this,
into
because we got to have some,
Cost estimates.
well, we got to have costs, but we got to have a direction. So when we go to the grant, the Rural Opportunities Grant people, that we are ready to go forward with Plan B.
okay, and so that's where
That's
I'm
where
coming in
trying
and
to push
saying,
it.
if we're gonna go ahead and say, okay, well, let's move forward with getting this, I'm afraid we're gonna tag that money to this again, instead
No.
of saying,
No.
I feel like our number one priority is to get downtown and working on our streets.
Okay, see,
And that's
that's
where
what,
we should be
that's what
using.
that's what I'm hearing from everybody.
Okay.
So what
So
I'm
that's
want-
where we want to develop the economic grant to try to pad that.
That's why I need direction. That's
Okay.
why I need this resolution so that it's.
If I can just throw something out, I've heard this from you multiple times. Lyle, you're listening to the feedback that I've been giving you, and I appreciate that. I just want to publicly thank you. You've been very open toward that in the 4 days that we've been talking about this, and I think your intention really is to do what the people want, right? And so I thank you for listening.
Well, I think, thank you. I appreciate that.
If we're
very much.
willing to, consider that redirect, I agree with that also.
Okay, so we have, is there any more discussion?
Mayor,
Yes.
just as far as from what I understand of what the Main Street Committee has done over the last several months, if this council decides to not go with the Midland Square concept, or they decide to not do, or UDOT says we can't do that or whatever, when we first presented to you, City Council, we presented like 8 or 9 suggestions, and that goes back to the priorities of like the sidewalks, I think was like number 1, and then different things. So if you are considering going back to just doing Main Street without UDOT approval, that would be, I think, our suggestion is those points and in that priority. So.
Yeah, agreed.
Thank you. All right, we've had a motion, and we've got a second, we've had discussion. I'm going to call for a vote. Start with you, Wes.
Wes, yes.
If this is going with the motion you said.
Right.
It is.
Right there at the end, then I'll say yes.
It's,
Lyle Vance, yes.
Larry, yes.
Bo, again, as with Brett, if that's the intent, yes.
all right, motion passes. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the discussion. I want to thank the steering committee for for all of their effort and bringing us to this point. Very much appreciated. So, thank you. Okay, the consent agenda, this we can vote, we can go ahead and we got the October warrant register, the financial statements, and the discussion and consideration of adopting resolution number 24-65, ratifying the substantial completion, did I read that right? Substantial completion of River Valley Phase 8. On River Valley Phase 8, there's been a lot of questions on that. Jeff, do you just want to just answer any questions or before we vote on the consent agenda?
What are the questions?
Well, I've just heard, I've just heard lots of questions.
I couldn't find it on a map or a.
It's on the Bear River Mountain Road, that road clear out there.
Road to nowhere.
Bear River Mountain Road, is that what it's called?
Where the storage sheds are.
Yeah.
Them
Oh, okay.
apartments right next to Ashfields.
And they've got some new apartments they put up out there, right?
Yeah, town hall.
Started them last year.
So the interesting thing about this is River Valley's developing just using the city's zoning ordinance. There's not really a development agreement. There's not a master plan community. It's simply just Sierra Homes is going out and building to city standards. And that's it. So that's why when people say, where is it? It's just out over there because it's never been really marked as an overlay zone or any other type of master plan community that we've done in the past. They're just simply meeting the zoning standards for the zone they're in.
That's
But-
okay, but.
Oh, yeah, that's
the thing that
okay.
You gotta know is that everybody up here don't know where River Valley is. We just want some cross references.
Well, the hard part
roads,
is-
And I drive them every day. I drive them every day. Deliver garbage cans. I can't get you to, that's what I'm looking for is sometimes, you know, just a little more simplicity so that we don't have to think twice where that place is.
Well, I wouldn't want you to think more than you have to us.
Yeah. We'll do a lot more thinking.
Okay, any questions on that? Okay, we can go ahead and vote on this, all three items. We had a motion.
Yeah.
Or maybe you did. Anyway, we put the recitals together, and I don't know what else.
I mean, there's getting to be too many Pheasant Valley, Pheasant Run,
Well, yes, that's for sure.
River Valley, River, you know.
Are those all townhouses, Jeff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much are they selling for, do you know?
I think they're a little bit lower because none of them have garages.
No garages, 2-bedroom apartments?
I think they're 2 to 3, depending on that. I could ask Sierra Homes what they're going for, but my guess is that they're
I heard they
probably
were
in the
going for like
3s.
230,000.
They're pretty much our most affordable housing product right now because bluntly, that's the bare bones. There's not, like I said, there's no garages, there's not a lot of wasted space.
It's like a
there,
normal
so-
fourplex selling as a townhome.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda on all 3, A, B, and C.
Second it.
Motion by Lyle Vance, second by Wes. Brett?
Brett, yes, and I.
Lyle Vance, aye.
Blair, aye.
Bo, yes.
Bless yes.
Thank you, motion passes. Calendar items we have coming up. We've got our, every year we have our holiday extravaganza. I saw Zach here a little while ago. That'll be on December the 7th. We invite everybody to attend. Santa Claus will be there. And I believe there's going to be wagon rides. The Munzes were going to come with their horses and do wagon rides, and it'll be a lot of fun. On the 10th is our Christmas dinner for the city council, Maddox at 6 p.m. And on the 17th, no council meetings. So that's why we needed to kind of have some direction here so we can go to work tomorrow on and rethinking this grant money. With that, let's see, do we have any other? Oh, crap. Administration reports. Bill, do you have anything for us?
Yes, sorry I missed the last meeting. My wife thanks you, though, that the cruise was very enjoyable, so thank you very much for that time off. And my wife thanks you as well, as my daughter does. She loved Disneyland. It was a lot of fun. So a couple of things have happened too that I think I should keep you up to speed on. Right, as soon as we got back last Tuesday, so a week ago, we met with some folks about annexation. And this is a question that's going to continue to come up as we develop the west and southerly portion of the city and in that annexation boundary. So stay tuned for more conversations with that. It was a very productive conversation. Jeff and I and the mayor was there for that. And it wasn't adversarial, but it was informative and interesting. And so more to come on that. Then the mayor and Lindsay and I met with some representatives from Habitat for Humanity earlier today, and we answered some questions and got some things discussed there. I'm working on and have prepared a rating and ranking system for the $800,000 that you guys set aside for affordable housing and moderate income housing in the city. And that's going to come before you hopefully early January for your first look, and then we can talk about it and maybe get a vote on it in our second meeting there in January. So, which would be what, the 17th, did we say? Yeah, 17th sounds right. So, yeah, we're excited. No, 21st? 21st, that's what it was. Okay. Too many dates. And so more to come on that. It's borrowed heavily from the CDBG grant rating and ranking criteria. And I think it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to get it over to those folks and let them have a look too and make sure that if they have comments or concerns, that we get those rectified before it gets in front of you guys. And yeah, we're going to move forward with that.
Okay, any DRC information you want to share with us there, Jeff or Bill?
DRC's a little bit slower. We're having a meeting tomorrow. Start looking at the South annexation and working with Hanson and Associates to go over some of the capital facilities planning for that. Also, anticipate hearing on a very, very large development at DR Mountain. The developer is getting some of the preliminary stuff, the other preliminary stuff done before he submits his first plat. So interested to see what that looks like. It's a few acres.
Are we thinking of annexing that whole thing?
Right,
Do you want to just annex part of it, or?
Well, part of it is in Garland's annexation.
I know.
And
That's why I asked the question.
That's why. I think the resources,
It's a great
in my mind, the resources, the water resources and everything, it'll probably take both communities. That's my mind.
It's a tough question. If it was a large industrial, super tax revenue producing thing, yeah, we'd probably pursue it a little bit more heavily. But where it's just residential up on the hill, I mean, we'd love to have our portion be regulated, but we're working on an interlocal agreement between them and between Garland and us to make sure that we coordinate and talk about infrastructure and other standards. So
I didn't know if we were going to try annexing Garland's portion or split it.
well, it's a big question actually, and it's kind of a political football. So I don't know how much we want to get into it, but
That's fine.
The idea is they've got some claim, we've got some claim, and then the property owners have the right to say what they want. And then ultimately, it may come down to a boundary commission at the county level question, so.
The owners haven't expressed that yet.
Oh, the owners have expressed a lot of different things, but they tend to kind of talk creatively.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah.
Good word. Enough said.
Yep. Thanks.
You have anything else?
No.
Jeff, do you have anything else? Department head reports. Chief, let's see, we got.
Excuse me. All right. So first I want to thank Bo here. He volunteered to help us in a use of force board. We had an incident and we needed to have the board review it. we are all clear on that now, so thank you for your help with that.
I got to use the taser.
Yeah, I didn't plan that either. He just kind of took it, and we had to wrestle it out of his hands, but it was good.
I wanted to shoot one of these.
We're working on our Sub for Santa, where the officers donate some of their sick time. We're hoping to help a couple families get back to the community, and I'll keep you informed, but the guys get pretty excited, and gals. We're working with Brigham to improve some dispatch issues. I kind of looped in the mayor and Bill. It'll be ongoing, but once we make a move, I'll make sure you guys are in the loop. We're actually looking at an option to save both cities money. We've been talking to Garland about this for quite some time. I think the appetite for Tremont's been pretty positive. One of those options is combining the courts. They're just really not getting their money's worth out of their court. It's kind of a pit, and it would help offset some of the cost of ours. Just always looking for ways to save money and add back to the budget. So what we're doing is we're just collecting the data, looking at the numbers, seeing how much it will save both cities, and seeing if there's an appetite for that, and then we'll leave it to the council to decide from there, if it makes sense. And the last thing is we'll be fully staffed as of January, and that'll be the first time in the last 2 years, so we're pretty excited.
Perfect. Way to go.
Yeah. Any questions for me? Cool, thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Brady?
Police department's always a hard act to follow. I had sent all of you a message about a couple of incidents we had. It was a busy holiday weekend for the fire department. One, moderately significant structure fire. The home family be out of their home for months while it's renovated. Another structure fire the next day that turned out to be quite small and contained to a furnace unit. But the relevant piece of that is important that I want you to hear is the really a successful response we had from our off-duty personnel that really helped carry us. Off-duty members responding into the station in an emergency's notice to back up the on-duty crew to help us carry through those kinds of incidents on holiday weekends. So they're leaving their families, they're leaving their events and coming in and carrying those things. And then in the last couple of weeks, we've also been twice we've responded to Brigham City to back Brigham City up because they've been limited. Both one time because they were out of people, we sent an ambulance. One time because they were out of ambulances, we sent an ambulance to help with their incidents within the last couple of weeks. So it's been busy, but everybody's stepping up and doing a really good job. Our new engine is in Salt Lake. I tried to get down there to see it today, but I had too many things on my to-do list, so I'll probably try to get down there tomorrow.
Brady, how many volunteers showed up? Just curious.
Oh, I should have been prepared with that. Probably of our off-duty members, and I kind of include full-time and part-time off-duty coming in. There was probably 10 or 12 that came in, which is almost half of our off-duty staff.
Got a bunch of good people that live here.
If the pagers would work right, you'd get more.
We would. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that gets to the dispatch, the dispatch comment
They
that
don't even,
it's been really challenging to get all of our pages.
crazy.
And I've sent dispatch some very stern, as sternly worded as I dare, messages to say you've got to get this fixed so that our off-duty people are getting the page. Yeah.
How's the billing working?
For ambulance billing, we've been working with them. We haven't started yet. We're still in the process. Shari's been working with them the last couple of days. She passed that to me today for my portion to align our software and our practices with them. It'll still be a few weeks before we get it turned over to them.
Good.
Just aligning our billing practices, our billing software, all of those things. But very much in the works.
Thanks.
That'll be a good step for us. Thank you.
Thanks, Brady. Okay. Council reports. Mo, you've had kind of seen what we do here. Just talk about some
Start
of
on
the
that
things.
end if you don't mind.
I will. I just wanted you to start thinking.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right. Wes?
Great meeting again tonight. Them committees that shows what kind of people we have in our community, which I'm proud to serve up here. The lights look really well out here. Lynn Green done such a good job on them. Keep them suckers running. We've got the police out looking now for trailers, cars, abandoned cars, basketball standards to get ready for winter, you know. Everybody can do that. If your neighbor's car's out on the road and you don't want the plow to come and dump it all in your driveway, just ask them to move it, you know. So winter's coming. It's not here, but it's coming, so be prepared. We're gonna do everything we can down there, so we're ready.
Brett?
That's all I got.
Yeah, two things. Lindsay, I had Bob Anderson call me. He's like a what's that called? Ham radio expert. And we had a ham radio here that the county donated to us and we can't find it.
Yeah.
Did you look downstairs?
Jim Hess looked when he was here
Okay.
7 years ago.
Yeah.
We don't have
He said it's in briefcase.
I think he even came in before.
Okay. So,
Yeah, it's been an ongoing conversation
okay,
for 10 years.
then we may just need to let the county know we don't have it anymore. Okay.
Any idea where it will be.
Okay, and then I've got, I want to show you something here. I got some bids back on our signage. You know, I've been pushing to put a sign out on Main Street so that we can better communicate with the public and try to be as transparent as we possibly can. And so scroll up in 2 pages, maybe, keep going, keep, one more page, I think. Yeah, that one works. Okay, so this is a 4x8 sign. Okay, it will take the place of the Marble Motel, which would be great to get rid of. Okay, because it's just not there anymore.
Well, the Marble Motel is there, but
But
it's
not it's
way-
not a motel anymore, right?
Yeah, just
It's-
long-term or
yeah,
short-term
yeah.
housing.
And then the one above it is a little bit smaller one. It's a 3x6, I think. And so now I do have one other bid coming, and I kind of would like him to turn it landscape. I think that would look better. So
Probably would be able to put-
this is Yesco, and they told me they can't turn it landscape. And so, but the other company's gonna get that to me. This sign here, if you, let's see, the first document had the bid on that one. We have in our budget $45,000 that we put aside last year, and this one came to 41, I believe. Yeah, 40,000 for the 3x6 sign, and the 4x8 sign, I think was 60,000. Yeah. So just FYI, I'm gonna get one more bid, and then we'll have a discussion on where we wanna go from there.
Very good. Now, the 4x8, how much was that one?
60. So that's 15 more than what we budgeted for. But let's see what the other, the
see
4x8 would be nice because it's, you know, you'd be able to see, but whatever.
If it
What are we
was,
gonna do with the Marble Motel sign?
Well, they're
That's
gonna,
gotta go somewhere, because somebody's gonna want that in 50 years.
you can take it.
I don't
Put
want
it
it.
at your house. But this bid also includes them
Backyard.
taking it down
yeah,
and putting it up and getting everything ready, so.
horizontal, I wonder if that would be
Like the kicks.
sticking out there quite a ways to,
When he
Wind
gets to the
and-
picture, we'll see. That doesn't look too bad, though.
no, I don't think that looks
Really?
bad. I think the 4x8,
Yeah, that's the 4x8 up there, and I think that looks pretty nice. That's all I have.
that's all you got?
Oh, and thank you to the Main Street Committee. Good job, you guys.
Yeah, I was going to do that too. A shout out to the directional committee, all of you. And we appreciate all of you that are here tonight for your input and being involved. And it really helps when everybody is here doing their thing. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, I'm the same. That's why I asked the question on the priority or whatever. I mean, I'm not a, Midland Square's just a bad taste in my mouth since we started, but it's just a big circle. And I can see both sides, because I sat there with you on a one of them things, and I seen a lot of people come in and look at the memorial that wouldn't have done it if it wouldn't have the farmer's market. So you gotta bring them there to see it too. So it's, but I just appreciate everybody saying, but just say and realize that you can say, I can say stuff to my wife, but I don't get my way at ever. So, same thing. So, thanks.
Oh yeah, I just likewise. I think there's a lot of opinions, a lot of differing opinion, and yet the same intention, right? And it's fun to see people come together through communication and be able to arrive on something like we did tonight that I think is gonna really move in a direction, and hopefully we can get it to take traction. So.
Is that all you got?
Yep.
I want to second everything that's been said, and I want to express my appreciation to the steering committee. I mean, we've met sometimes weekly to come up with some plans and directions, and we've gotten information, and so I appreciate very much the efforts. And so at this point, I think we have some direction now that we can go on, and I think that tomorrow we'll be going to work on the grant. And don't you be too far away, Monica, because I'm going to be calling you. I think that we're excited. The whole idea here is to revitalize downtown. That's bottom line. That's the idea. That was the idea from the beginning. And now that we have a direction to go, I think we can hopefully use some of this funding and everything to help. I'd like to be able to use some of that online sales tax they're taking the business away from us. Let's use some of that money and reinvest into our main street and make it something better. So I think we've got a great opportunity that lies ahead of us. And I'm, for one, very, very excited. So with that, council, we have one more.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Okay.
I second it.
All right. All in favor?
Council, for your open discussion.
We think it's been a really great meeting tonight.
Thank you.
I am so sorry. That just set me off.